Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Subscribe, comment, and like without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Aries. Aries, I shot your reading last month with the other readings, and a chupacabra came and ate your reading. So we're going to have to do it again. So I pulled some cards, and then I got a card that wanted to get away. Messages for a rabbit. We'll see if you guys are empaths in a bit. So anyway, one of the other sides got that card too. So we've already pulled, I pulled two cards out of the Akashic deck. One of them is your overall energy and the other one is like a supporting energy. We're going to talk about that. I've been sitting with these cards a little bit to see maybe if I can get, you know, the energy, the energy that's attached to them. Right now, Aries cannot tell if you are the Akashic card or if somebody is coming into your life that's the Akashic card. So we'll get into that. And also there's a spiritual awakening deck that I'm using as well. So we pulled one card for the overall energy out of that. And then there's a couple cards that came out. We didn't actually pull, they were jumpers. Great. And then a couple other cards came out to support that. So we'll see where we're going with this. But that's the deceit card sitting on the table. So we'll get the energy oracle out and then we'll take a look at the Akashic and the spiritual awakening cards real quick. And then we'll go through these energy oracle cards. See what else will come out with this deceit card for Aries. I want to say that it was Aquarius that got envy. One of those two did. Either Aquarius or Libra. All right. I'd like to get at least two more cards. Okay. That is 4, so I think since it's acting a little silly, we'll stay with that. Okay, so we'll see what else we have. Let's go into what we pulled earlier. So the Queen of Scrolls is the overall energy out of the Akashic deck. For this one, she's got like this white light. It's not really extremely easy to see even with good lighting, but that light around her is supposed to be like the light of wisdom. And then the law of non-attachment came out for the spiritual awakening cards as the overall energy. It says, let go, release, and allow miracles. So these two cards go together with me as kind of the, overall energy. Like I said, if this is you, then this is you with the light of wisdom around you and you're in your own life. You either have or you're going to walk through the archway of wisdom and understanding, right? So if it isn't you, then someone else is going to come into your life and then this is what they're going to bring. They're either coming to help you walk through the archway or to show you that you can walk through the archway of wisdom kind of thing, understanding. It's almost basically like an evolution, right? And then, so for the supporting Akashic energy, we have initiation and the Count Saint Germain, right? So obviously this is initiation. This is like something that you would either embody to, move through this situation here, or just something that you would have in order to get through it. Like if you weren't trying to, like if it wasn't a problem, it was just something that you needed to do, like you would embody this energy to help you move through that, right? And for the initiation, it's not just an initiation, it's like a movement to higher revelations of power, insight, and achievement. So it's not just about, oh, I'm ascending or I'm getting better. Like we were talking about achievement, we were talking about power, we're talking about understanding, we're talking about wisdom, we're talking about revelation, we're talking about, the next level up. So the two laws that we want to use for the spiritual awakening to kind of bring us closer to where we're trying to go, the energy that we want to embody. So one of them is the law of nature. So we have the law of nature here, and it says reconnect with Mother Earth, and then the law of rhythm, which is the universe is guiding you, go with the flow. So I kind of I'm getting a little bit of two scenarios here. Like these two cards right here, like the initiation is just, let's right now just think of it as an initiation. Let's not be incredibly specific on what, you know, the initiation is for or to or whatever. These two cards here are kind of telling me like that go with the flow is what speaks the loudest. So the nature card, yes, because a lot of times when we're in a tailspin or we're doing too much, a lot of times, you know, or we're not getting the messages that we want, we can always bring ourselves back to nature, and that kind of helps us out a little bit. So if we are having trouble, we're struggling a little bit, we are trying to rise, maybe this is us right here and we are the wisdom, you know, but we need a little bit of help in this initiation process, we would go ahead and either like purposely ground ourselves or earth ourselves, or, you know, we would use that, we would understand that everything is going to flow. So we wouldn't try to like hold it in any particular place. And this is again where this like law of non-attachment comes from. Anything that we're attached to, that we're hanging on to, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be an inanimate object. It's not going to help us out in the long run as far as what we're trying to do if we're trying to ascend or get better. And we can't take a lot of stuff with us. There's a lot of reasons why that is, okay? Door to spirit. So this is one of the reasons why, because they say when you're in a spiritual awakening that you shouldn't have attachments. Attachments are what holds us to the old experience at the very least. But let's say in a situation where somebody's deceased, it holds them to this planet. You know, it holds them to this world. It's their love for their bedroom furniture could be more important than going into the light. And all of a sudden you have this attachment that's keeping you from growing. And that's even after you're dead. And this is just one example. So, we're supposed to not have attachments. It keeps us from moving forward. It keeps us worrying about too many things that we could just let go and go with the flow. And that whatever situation we're in would be a lot more painless, because we wouldn't be trying to control it and hang on to it and drag certain aspects of it with us that can't come. Anytime you're trying to go through the door to spirit, a lot of times what we try to do is we try to bring people with us, right? We try to bring this guy with us. This guy can't come with us through the door to spirit. I keep saying it, right? So it's one of those things where if I'm attached to him and I keep trying to go through that door, and every time I walk through the door he dematerializes and goes back on the same side, it's because he's not of that vibration and he can't go. I need to release my attachment to him, or I need to release my attachment to the door to spirit. They don't go together. So we also have the door to personal healing happiness. So more than one door, more than one way we could go in our either in our evolution or in our initiation or in our transcendence or in just being full of like wisdom and, you know, and power. You know, we have all this stuff with us. We have all this stuff already with us. We can't take stuff that's not meant to go. It's like moving and trying to take too much with you. And then again, you know, it's trying to take something to somewhere that it can't go. It's kind of like trying to grow tomatoes in the desert. You could have a plant that was doing great in one, you know, particular climate, and then take it to the desert and then go, well, why isn't my plant growing? To put it in a totally different environment. That's why. And tomatoes are sensitive. But anyway, the angel of strength is also here on the table. So obviously we need strength to go through something. Sometimes we just need strength to like get through like the transcending part or the initiation part of what we're trying to do. But you know, again, especially if there's deceit on the table, because we're trying to move through something that again is opposing us. So I mean, obviously if we had like support and backing, we wouldn't even really need much of a push, right? Everybody would just walk together on the path and it would be great. That initiation right there, that card has like 4 people on it. So it's a possibility that even if that is you on the table, Aries, that there's other people involved here who either need to move with you or do not need to move with you. That's wake up on the table. So I'm taking that as spiritual awakening. Maybe you're already woken up, but you're trying to take somebody with you that's not woken up. Maybe you're not realizing your power and you need to wake up. Or maybe you're waking up and then this person that's at the top of the table is not you, but somebody coming in to help you. Any of those apply. There's enough good stuff or big stuff going on here at the table to where, yeah, you might need some actual help. Door to personal healing and happiness isn't always fun. A lot of times I say you got to cross that door before you could go through the door to spirit, but you don't have to. I mean, you still have the 2 doors here on the table. It doesn't really matter how you walk through them, what order or whatever. Okay, we'll get back to that. Okay, so nonsense. So this did come out for one of the other signs, one of the air signs. But basically, this is when people are saying stuff that's not true. So again, we're over here with deceit, spreading rumors. At the very least, even sometimes when things aren't terrible, what people are saying. You know, it's enough to put a monkey wrench in the process. And in this case, it might be this initiation process here that's kind of holding you back. Again, not flowing. And then you have painting the roses red, correcting errors. So this is kind of like my card for like perpetuating other people's mistakes. I mean, it could be yours, but we do have this nonsense and deceit on the table. So this could be somebody else bringing stuff that's not true into the picture. And either you may be perpetuating it because you think it's true, or you might be perpetuating it because you heard it enough that you're just replaying it over in your head. It doesn't really matter what it's about. It doesn't really matter who it's about, because the fact of the matter is it pertains to this deceit. And then again, you know, a lot of times that's where our attachment comes in. We get attached to things people say or things people do. We don't want to forgive them or whatever's going on, and then that's going to hold us back just as much as any other physical attachment that we might have. And then we have almost have prizes. So this is trying to please everyone. So I always take this as kind of like the booby prize. Like, you got this prize because everybody needs to have prizes, but it's just literally something that you don't want. And again, we have the deceit and the nonsense on the table with wake up and painting the roses red. So now the situation's starting to look just a little bit more sinister than just trying to evolve. We're going to pull the moons, but I already want to know what the blind spot is. So we're just going to say that we are definitely going to pull a blind spot on the extended. If this ends up being your reading, definitely meet us over there, because there could be something more that's holding us back besides deceit, people talking nonsense, and, you know, the idea that we're covering up a mistake somewhere, right? That's interesting. Let's just see if anything else comes out. I really do not feel like that was me being exceptionally clumsy. Let's see. That's 3 cards right there. I think we're just going to take them. So, let's see what we got. We have, new moon in Aries. Go for it. I want to say Aquarius got that one. Last quarter moon in Aquarius. Reflect on your priorities. Somebody got this. I want to say Gemini. Might have been Libra. And honor your feelings. First quarter moon in Pisces. So you guys are the first ones that got this. Honor your feelings. So again, we got people talking nonsense, and then you feeling some sort of way, and maybe even not believing that that what you're feeling is correct, because you're either being told something different, or you're just not really comfortable in where you're sitting to even like trust that you might be true on how you're actually perceiving the situation, right? Because anytime there's other people involved, and you know, especially like if we're trying to like go through the door to spirit, or we're this person like with wisdom and I guess it was like moving through the archway of wisdom and understanding. So let's say we have the wisdom, or we have the understanding of the situation, but a lot of times we can start to doubt ourselves of what we see, if what we see is clear, because the other people involved either don't see it or don't they're not following us in the way that when they look at it, it doesn't look the same to them. So we see a picture that looks like more sinister than what they see, because we see the intention behind it. We see it doesn't necessarily have to be done to us. We have that sight, right? We're this person, and we have that sight of what's actually being done to us, right? We don't have any attachments. Like maybe in the past, give me my card. Maybe in the past somebody did tell us nonsense, but we didn't become attached to that information. We don't really care about it. But we still get to the point where we doubt what we think is going on, because Either we don't have a sounding board to tell us that that's true, or we just, again, you know, somebody told us something, or maybe we're even telling ourselves. We could just be telling ourselves for the first time. I mean, this somebody's talking nonsense card is totally different than this painting the roses red card. So down, as far as I'm concerned, it's on here. It's down here twice. And then you have somebody giving you something that you don't want just because they're giving somebody else something. And then you have the wake up card. So again, this kind of tells me that if this is you up here at the top, this person with the wisdom and understanding, and you are trying to take through somebody through the door of spirit who like doesn't belong, first of all, I mean, they're not healed. But if you're trying to do that, you might not be healed either, which means you're not any closer to your personal healing and happiness either, because you're still trying to like make something fit that doesn't fit. Like this strength isn't going to help you in that aspect of it. And that's sometimes too what we do. We have these things at our disposal that could help us with whatever it is we're trying to do, but we use them in the wrong ways, right? Maybe we have the power of communication, but we use it to try to talk somebody into staying who should really just go, right? Stuff like that, prolonging our stuff, right? I mean, that could be talking nonsense, or it could be waking up, or it could be painting the roses red. Or you might feel like if somebody leaves, you're left with nothing, right? I don't really know if you want to be left with this. Again, this is the same thing that we were talking about in the other reading about figuring out what's important and then moving forward with that, right? And again, if this person isn't you and this person's coming, there's no room in this situation for this person. They're not compatible with the person that's coming in. And if the person's coming in to be with you or to talk to you or to share wisdom with you, then you're not compatible with this person who's not compatible with that person either. Again, the attachment. I'm not necessarily reading that as an attachment to a person. It could be an attachment to anything, but it's definitely an attachment that's causing a problem with seeing things, you know, how they should be. I mean, might not be seeing things how they are. It's possible. But then that's not the problem. Like the problem is saying, well, it should be this way. And it's not necessarily the way that it should be. You're not necessarily seeing the whole thing because you're still kind of holding on to something that doesn't go along with the other stuff. It's not too hard to identify. Let's say if you did have attachments, it's kind of like one of these things is not like the other. You know, once you kind of look and you see, then it stands out. Like it's almost like, you know, going to visit the Easter Bunny with this guy, right? And he's just going to stand out. You know, the bunnies are going to be afraid. He's going to stand out. So it's one of those things where you being attached to it isn't really helpful. Like you could be like, but I'm attached to it, but nobody's going to care because it just doesn't go. He's not going to care. Right? This is the other aspect of this that we're not even talking about. We're talking about your aspect of it and how this person would feel if they weren't you, you know, trying to, you know, bring this guy in. But how does this guy feel about it, right? Is he acting like he's aboard, but he's not? Is he like doing other stuff that's not conducive to walking through this door to spirit, creating chaos perhaps? I mean, we might get a better idea of that when we pull other cards in the extended. Chaos might come out. But right now, going with the flow is here. Going with the flow and being grounded. So grounding and earthing, yes, for sure. Especially, like I said, if you're stuck. Like if you're like, well, I already know about this. I've been trying to do this. I just don't know what to do. Then that's probably what you should do. It sounds easy. It's probably not. You might be attached to an idea that doesn't work. You know, but it does. It works for a lot of people, even people who don't believe that if they just walk on the grass, they'll feel better. So that's you. You should do that if that's where you are. If not, you still have this going with the flow card and us trying to like control things. I mean, this is control too, painting the roses red, not accepting things for how they are, right? Just trying to change it. And there's a good possibility too that our feelings aren't even aligned with that. It could be perpetuating somebody else's mistake or just perpetuating the nonsense because that's what we know. Sometimes it's harder just to have strength and do what it is that we're trying to do on this side, because our stuff gets in the way. Speaking of our stuff getting in the way, I am ready to pull the blind spot. So I want to see what the blind spot is. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I can see here for you, Aries. So just remember to not, no matter what you're doing, remember the attachments. Sometimes it's easier than it seems. Sometimes if there's a change that you know needs to come, but it's not coming, you're like, I'm still waiting. Ask yourself what you're attached to. It doesn't have to be something that you think is related to what you're waiting for, but it can be, because it might be an energetic concept that you're not seeing. So again, reflect on your priorities, pay attention to what matters, right? That non-attachment card. Also, if this is you with the wisdom and the understanding, then keep operating in your strength to get to the door to spirit and the door to happiness, and definitely release any attachments to people who can't go. Talking nonsense, resistance to waking up, perpetuating other people's mistakes, lack of being able to move forward, ignoring your feelings, maybe forgetting about what's important and then making sure everybody's happy. Don't do any of that. It's not necessary for what you're trying to do. The flow is what's important, right? All that extra stuff is not. And the grounding, absolutely. And remember, you have this initiation card. So yeah, there might be some other people with you. Like I said, there's 4 people on this card. And that person could be coming to help them too. But it doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be that serious. You just have to worry about letting go of that attachment. Aries, if this is your reading, meet us over at the extended. I want to know what the blind spot is. And if not, until we meet again.